Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the British Immigrant Broadcasting Corporation podcast, the home of hot takes and high stakes, where we discuss pressing topics in a very unorthodox and immature way, I guess is the best way of putting it. Jacob, you have another hat. This is grade A material right here.
All right, so we'll just cut that,
I do have a feeling that camera will be worse quality recording than your phone. Are you recording audio on your phone?
No.
Okay, Jacob, I've got one better for you.
There's just too much going on. I have the camera, the lights,
slow down.
the
Jacob,
phone,
slow down.
the hat, priorities.
Jacob, just record the video on your phone with the flash on. Because then you've got the audio, you've got the video, and you've got the light. I don't know if you could count to 3, Jacob, but that is a good number of things to have.
It's a stretch, I'll try.
Man.
Okay, let me turn on the audio here. Oh, back into the darkness, look at that.
I mean, is the darkness just your mental state, or are we talking about physically or what, Jacob? I don't know, man.
Well, because I moved the light. That's the dark. See? Light, dark.
For someone who used to work at IBM, your grasp on technology seems to be rather faint.
Wow.
Okay, is the audio rolling?
Yeah, the audio's running.
Okay, I'm happy to hear it. Jacob, you were saying something, I think. Dead air.
I forgot. Dead air.
Because you can't look at your notes.
What were we talking about? I think we were talking about your ribs.
My injury. So basically, I'm alright. I bailed on work today just to have some opportunity just to go to the hospital, get it checked out. Also, I just did not feel good this morning at all. Like, there was no good way to get out of bed this morning. I was trying to figure out some situations of like how I can get this to work, and it was just painful every way. So I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. So I was like, and then I just like, as the day has progressed, I've been feeling a lot better, and I feel like I'm ready for work tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna be stuck doing some like more computer-based work tomorrow, hopefully.
How did you hurt your ribs, anyways?
Take a wild guess, like your most wild of guesses.
Skateboarding, and you tried a trick on a half pipe and you landed awkwardly on a pole on stairs.
Closer than further, to be honest. So not a half pipe, but I did land on my skateboard.
Oh, wow.
So the skateboard landed sideways, and then I landed on top of it. So
wow. What were you trying to do?
I'll insert footage. A crooked grind. So, yeah.
It certainly ended crooked.
Hot takes and high stakes, guys. Did I lie to you? Obviously not. I mean, fair. Slam dunk on me. First one of the evening. Good job, Jacob.
You're welcome. Okay, let's go backwards on this. Right.
I mean, it's all good and well that you're looking for your notes, but I'm trying to figure out if you can read, because the notes won't be much help if you can't read them, Jacob.
Oh, thanks. Don't worry. I wrote them in colors, so I understand.
You just look at the color and you remember what you wrote.
I remember red means this, orange means that.
Well, Jacob,
right.
Your hat and your shirts are red, so what does that mean?
What do you mean? It doesn't mean have any symbol. It was just a coincidence.
Sure, Jacob. As all good things in the universe are. Okay, hit me. First topic.
Right. So, you know how, like, I don't know if you ever... Did you guys have high school in Africa?
As in everyone goes to school and smokes blunts. Yeah, sure.
High school in like North America is like between the ages of like 14 to 18, and it's identified as high school, right?
Yeah, ours is 13 to 18, so yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but we don't have all of the junior high and all that stuff. It's literally just high school.
Yeah. Oh, so it's all just high. So what ages is high school then?
13 to 18. Everyone's in
Yeah.
the same school.
Yeah. So that was like us. Whereas here they have something different. I think like they have they have something. They only go to school here till they're 16 and then they're done.
Yeah, but then they go to then they do their A levels and whatever, all these levels.
Yeah, but technically they could finish at 16 and just start working.
In South Africa, you can do that too.
Ah, really?
But yeah,
Are you considered a dropout?
Legally by the law, no.
Ah.
Because you you legally have to go to school till you're 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this isn't fair. You have like a cup, and it's making me feel really insecure because I have nothing to really hold on to. I'm just gonna apply
Jacob,
moisturizer.
That's toothpaste. Is that moisturizer?
It's moisturizer. What are you talking about? It's just
Oh my gosh.
even the odds. Anyway, so back to the high school topic, right? So I don't know if like sometimes like my friends will tell me, "Oh man, like if I can go back to high school, like right now with all my knowledge, I'd run shit," type of thing, right? And it's like, yeah, fucking, of course. But like I was thinking earlier, it's like, you know, if you do that, you're not really gonna have the best of interests. You're gonna be kind of like a dictator, like a tyrant.
That sounds like such a, it sounds so pathetic, to be honest, because it's like, ooh, I can't wait to go wrestle with a bunch of 10-year-olds. I'll definitely win.
Well, yeah, but the 10-year-olds would be like 13 to 18, but their minds, I guess, would be 10 because they wouldn't be developed, you know?
Yeah, not even close, relative to you at the moment.
No, that's what I mean. It's like it wouldn't even be fair. It's like you would just be like bullying basically them through your
It's like
intellectual...
imagine Steve Jobs said, "Ooh, I can't wait. Just imagine I was 18 again and I could start my company again." You know?
Yeah, it's like
it's like he's already done it. You know?
Yeah. Man, but could you imagine if you could, like, just know everything about life and, like, the meaning of life and every reason why people act the way they do? And it's like...
My outlook on life hasn't really changed since age 16. And that's just because... Well, not really since 16, more since I started high school. Because, as I said, I was homeschooled. So my mom, from a young age, said... This is how school works. You get the popular kids, you get the sporty kids, you get the not so popular kids, you get the nerds. Some people get bullied, some people are popular, no one has any control over anything, and that's why I don't want to put you guys in school, because it's dumb. And I was like, I agree. And then I went there, went to school, and within the first day, I'm like, okay, I can see all these things happening. This is bogus. I'm not buying into any of this. So I didn't participate in any school sports. I didn't give a bugger about any, school activities or any school escapades or dances or anything. I think I might have gone to 2 dances at my school, but I think I only went to 1. Out of, and there were, a couple every year, you know?
Right.
And everyone in school was like, ooh, such a big deal, I can't wait. And I'm just like, dude, calm me out, bro. I'll be at the skate park, homie, you know?
How are your dances like in South Africa?
I mean... You know, you got the hall. The hall gets decorated. A bunch of kids show up. There's a teacher or 2 to police them to make sure nothing too provocative goes on.
This sounds very Western. Is there any African in this dance?
No, Jacob, no. Not at all. It's all... I mean...
Is it civilized in the Western way?
Yeah, South Africa is literally a Western country with the economy and the infrastructure of a developing country. The mindset, for the most part, is Western, but the infrastructure and the corruption level and the poverty level is third world.
Right.
Because everyone in South Africa has access to the internet, and they can see everything going on in the States and in Europe.
Huh.
And that's what, so, that's, best way to describe it, really.
Do you consider yourself African?
That is a good question. I do. And that's just based off my mindset towards things.
Because it's like when you think of an African, stereotypically it's a black person.
I would consider myself South African in the same way that an American would consider themselves American. They're not Native American, they're American. I'm not African in the traditional sense of the word, but I'm a South African. And that, my mom is from Zimbabwe, or British Rhodesia at the time.
Uh-huh.
My dad is from the Klein Karoo, which is a small farming community, in the desert. Like, we are, African in that sense, for sure.
It's so weird because I think African is kind of like the only culture where people are identified by the continent, like you're African.
Yeah, basically. And if you let's take Australians for example. If you think of an Australian, you don't think of an Aborigine. You think of
No.
a guy wrangling a crocodile while boxing a kangaroo. That's what you think of. Jacob, I've got a hot one for you, okay? Now,
Yeah.
basically, let me break this down for you. Because this was gnarly. Okay? So,
Gnarly.
it's a rainy day. I am relatively grumpy. I'm not particularly in the mood to go to work, but it's 10 minutes before my bus arrives and I'm on my way to work. I walk into Greg's, right? The British home of junk food and junk comfort food. And I see this lady having a full-on argument with another lady fighting about the fact that she thinks she doesn't have to wear a mask at all. How dare this woman tell her that she needs to wear a mask? And then the whole time the other lady is actually just like, do you mind just taking a step back? I'd literally have no issue with you not wearing a mask. Just at least keep a 2-meter distance. And this woman in the store was going off about, I don't have a job. I am stuck at home. And all of these things, like the universe is ending, the sky is falling, and I won't wear a mask. I was just thinking, how does the fact that you don't have a job, or this, that, and the other, determine whether or not you should be entitled to not wearing a mask? It just made no sense to me, at all. And I was just watching this happen, and all the people working in the store were just kind of there, please, can this end? Just so I can carry on with my job I don't want to be at,
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. So it sounds like this woman was very much affected by this whole pandemic, where she might have lost her job or struggling to find work. All of her basic daily habits have closed down. She can't go anywhere, so she's stuck at home. Maybe she's stuck at home with kids because the kids can't go to school. So it's she's under a lot of stress, and maybe...
Yeah, she was holding a kid while this argument was happening.
Maybe the whole issue with the mask is her one, fact that she can control this at least, maybe. Maybe she's just gripping on to their last sense of control over the whole situation. Because not everybody is as, equal when it comes to how this has affected them. And maybe this was just one woman who got the brunt of it all.
Perhaps. When I think about these things, and sorry to cut you off if you were still talking, when I think of people complaining in England, I immediately think back to what it's like back home in South Africa, where there is no real form of welfare in South Africa. You might get 500 Rand a month, which is basically enough for 5 days worth of food, and that's your whole grant for the month. That's it, So, and in England, if you need food, if you need shelter, the government has you. In some way, shape, or form, you are covered, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, if only this person knew, there's really nothing to complain about, really, if you think about the fact that all your basic needs are met.
Yeah, all your basic needs are met, but it goes beyond basic needs. It's
I agree.
Inside of her brain, there was a chemical reaction which spurred on anxiety and stress. And when you take those chemicals reactions, you put them into anybody's brain, it'll create that same reaction because It has nothing to do with your environment or anything like that. It's just the chemicals reacting in your brain causing them to be distressed like that. And
Yeah, I know. I agree with you.
yeah,
I
even though
found it
you're
bizarre.
yeah, even though you're right, it's like you're
Yeah.
completely like you're an entitled human being who has everything given to them, and you have more than the rest of the world.
You let me know. I feel like just because of the stereotype that Canada is a nice place and Canadians are nice, I feel like something like that just wouldn't happen there. Am I
Right.
wrong?
No, it definitely would happen. I mean, the stereotype that they're nice is like, yes, because it's ingrained in a culture to constantly say please and constantly say thank you and excuse me and sorry. But, I mean, you definitely see people with road rage. You see people getting into arguments. You see just a lot of just hostility in some people. And it's not all, sunshines and candy canes in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Although, there is a part of me that's thinking, this woman has probably been stuck inside for so long with nobody to talk to, she just wants attention. And if she lashes out, she might get some attention.
Yeah, you're right too. That could be it also. Yeah. I mean, she could be a single mother as well, which doesn't help being stuck
Yeah,
with a
it
kid.
wouldn't surprise me.
what does
Wow,
that
that
mean?
actually... well, I didn't mean to dunk on her, like, yeah, you don't deserve anyone. No, just like, I think she wouldn't be so upset if she had a bit more of a support structure.
Yeah. Here's another interesting thing psychologically. It's like you've never met this woman before, right?
Nope.
So this was your first interaction with her, and because of that, you now have like a certain like you've basically judged her on that interaction.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
yeah, and it's like it happens all the time in daily life with people because everything is so globalized now that before when we used to live in small communities, you kind of knew everybody, so you knew their disposition. You know if they're just having a bad day versus if
Yeah.
they're just an asshole. Whereas now you meet someone for like a split second and they do something rude to, irritate you, and now you've branded them as a jerk or something, and you don't really know the full story. Not you
Yeah.
particularly, just humans in general.
Yeah, but then I think back to like, where is the line where acting ridiculous is not accepted? Because I can understand if you're perhaps a bit cold or you're perhaps a bit blunt with somebody, but in this day and age, with Corona spreading the way it is, not wearing a mask is almost the same thing as driving down the street at like 60 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. Like, that is the
Yeah.
level of acceptance that not wearing a mask will garner in this current climate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's surreal how some people still don't, um, accept what the truth of what you said, that it's like the mask is kind of like a guarantee you have to wear it type of thing. And some people still deny that this whole virus thing is real. They still think that it's some sort of,
Well,
yeah,
that
some
to
sort
me
of,
is just responsibility denial, really. Because if you acknowledge the fact that the virus is real, then you have to acknowledge the fact that you were wrong about denying COVID and not wearing a mask and all of that stuff. So it's a very easy way to get out of responsibility. You could just say, oh, I don't believe it's real, and therefore the rules don't apply to me.
yeah, let's do a hard cut here. So I was reading an article the other day, and it was about basically I forgot what it was, but it was basically had to do with like how the Spanish basically invaded South America, right? And a big reason why they were so successful in that was unintentional biological warfare. They brought diseases with them from Europe
I was thinking
that
about that.
just that the Aztecs at the time were not immune to, and it just completely decimated them. And it's just like I think they drew a reference towards this novel, which turned into a movie, War of the Worlds, where aliens came and invaded us, but they weren't immune to like the normal flu, and they died because of it. And it's just like it's just something so small like that the bacteria or virus cell can just completely just destroy everything and yeah, just change life as we know it, as it's changed life now.
Yeah, man. I mean, what I just find so interesting is that, how long has something like, because what exactly was it that wiped out all the Aztecs? Was it flu, or was it like plague, or what was
It
it?
wasn't the plague. I don't think it was like smallpox.
Oh, you're
Smallpox,
right.
malaria, stuff like that. That
Yeah,
just
I think
yeah.
it was smallpox actually. Now
Yeah.
that I remember it a bit. What I find so interesting is like, European people or people of European descent, how immune are we really to smallpox relative to, let's say, Native American, South North American people?
So how long has smallpox really been around?
Mm.
Like, you know, if
Yeah.
we've been able to, if us as European people have been able to grow immune to it to a certain degree, how
Yeah.
long would it have had to be around for us to evolve, really?
Yeah, that's a good question. But again, it's mutated multiple times.
Fair.
Just yeah. Yeah. Just like malaria, just like corona is multiplying or
Oh, man.
varying. Yeah.
So, in other news, so the British vaccine does not work on the South African variant.
Nope,
But it
does not.
seems the Pfizer one, to a certain degree, works better.
Yeah. But it's not good
It's not
enough.
foolproof. Yeah.
And they say that the vaccine for it to handle the South African one isn't going to be ready till autumn, which is about the same time the next flu season comes.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh
Yeah.
man. We're not even leaving our homes, are we?
No,
I
it
mean-
doesn't look like it anytime soon.
Oh man. I'm just thinking like, how fun it would be to have this podcast in person. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
like, maybe for like our 100,000 subscribers special, we can do
Yeah.
it in person because it will take that long for things to go back to normal.
Seriously, if there ever will be.
We can
Normal.
build an entire channel and quit our jobs and do this podcast exclusively in the time it will take for Corona to be eradicated.
Oh man, it doesn't seem we're in a vicious cycle. That's what it seems like.
The most vicious of cycles. I mean,
Yeah. And then, okay, I was having this discussion yesterday, right, with my girlfriend, and I basically was referencing this other article I was reading where, like, one of the people were saying, oh, it might just come to a point where the government just accepts a certain amount of deaths from corona a year, like they accept a certain amount of deaths from the flu a year. And she just completely felt the opposite way, saying it's unacceptable.
So, oh my gosh, my mom and I have had this conversation so many times because that's literally what's happening in South Africa right now.
Yeah.
So over Christmas they locked down all the beaches and all public places, but now since the new year started, they've just reopened everything because our economy in South Africa is so weak that we cannot sustain closure of businesses and public places for a prolonged period of time. Like, we already have a very weak economy as it is, but
Having everything closed will literally kill the already crippled economy. And I was talking to my mom and I was saying, how long do you think it's going to take in order for the same thing to happen in the UK? And she
Yeah.
says, well, her opinion is because people are all valued equally here, it will never happen. Because an 80-year-old who could die next year, their life is just as valuable as a 15-year-old who probably won't even show symptoms.
Yeah. Well, she's, you know what? If I can throw my opinion in there, I would say she's absolutely right, but things change. That's their feeling right now. In like a few months' time, their feelings might change. Be like, you know what? Things always change, and politicians always, they do what's best for them politically first and foremost. And then
for sure.
and then it's like today it might be everyone's equal, we're all in this together, but next month it might be, you know what, we can accept a couple of deaths. And that sounds terrible to say, but it's just like they're obviously gonna have to play up to what the people want, and enough people start making noise that they're sick of this.
But to be honest, I feel like most of the people already feel like that way, and they felt that way since the first lockdown ended.
Well, I mean, during the first lockdown, a lot of people were actually like taking it more seriously, and then like the second one, they kind of took it less, and as they went on, they took it less and less seriously. But
Yeah, well, basically, it's just because there's a line in the sand that needs to be drawn at some point. I think most people have already passed that line that they drew. Basically, just saying, I am not getting any younger. I need to carry on with my life.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
What difference does it make if I die of corona or not, if I'm not living right now?
Yeah, it's a very real statement. I mean,
Like, let's think about an old person that is currently dying in hospital. Let's think about it this way, okay? Let's say they're 90 years old, and they've got about 2 weeks to live, right? The last year of their life, they could have lived in its entirety in a vacuum-sealed box, or they could have lived 6 months, but they could do what they want. At 90 years old, what do you think they would have chosen? I would have chosen to live 6 months. For sure.
Yeah, I would have chosen the same thing. Well, at least the way I feel now, I wouldn't know what it feels like to feel 90. That must be a weird feeling.
It must be a weird feeling. Like, just imagine, especially you as a muscular person, just imagine being frail.
God, it is just, like, you see some of these, like, do you know who Ronnie Coleman is?
I don't.
He was this huge, like, bodybuilder from the 80s and 90s, like amazing physique, just he can lift amazing amounts of weights also. And then he had a series of back surgeries, and now he's just like a frail old man who's like, just like a shell of what he used to be. And it's just like, it just paints such a good picture of just like your immortality. Like, it's all gonna go. And it's like, yeah, I'm just enjoying it while it lasts, because I know that it's not going to last forever, and I'm not like, luckily I'm not too stuck on trying to keep my youth forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is to pivot. What are your thoughts? So I take it you've seen, like, plastic surgery in Hollywood and traditional media. I mean, it looks terrible. Let's be honest. Like, Kim Kardashian, to a certain degree, makes it look a bit more normal. She hasn't gone to extremes where her face is disfigured because of plastic surgery. But I've seen it so many times. As celebrities get older and they want to maintain the appearance of youth, they just keep getting their skin on their forehead stretched further and further, and all of this, and eventually they've got like 1 billion wrinkles down here on their neck because their skin has been pulled onto their face like this, and it's ridiculous. Like, it's literally the opposite of aging with grace. It is the most disgraceful way to age, in my opinion. It looks hideous. Like, just imagine you have a wife or a husband who just goes for all these procedures, and you wake up one morning and you look at them and they look like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No. I don't want it.
I mean, after you have, I think, like, one of the procedures done, it might be like lips or forehead or something, like, you have some serious side effects for the next couple of days where you just like really inflame in those areas.
Yeah.
And you look monstrous. And and it's my whole rationale for that is, it's like, you're obviously unhappy with something deep down inside of you, and you're insecure about something, and constantly trying to change yourself physically isn't going to solve that, because it's never going to be enough. You're not going to solve the problem.
No, you're not. Not at all. And I'm all in support for plastic surgery when it comes to medical procedures. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, I have a friend in South Africa who was kicked in the face by a horse.
Wow. That
and they,
must have.
you know, their nose was just obliterated.
Yeah.
And you know, the plastic surgeon did his job really well, and she looks great. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
You can't even tell. You
Yeah.
know? Like
Yeah, for
that, I
those-
fully support.
Yeah.
But you know,
Just for vanity, though, it's like, for vanity, it's like, come on.
it's like it's. I just find it so interesting because I just think, you know, how much do these people think they? How much do these people think that other people are thinking about them?
That's such a good point. Oh, they're so
It's like,
vain.
you are so arrogant that you think that I am thinking about the way you look right now.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Man, on like a little personal side, like, I have a gap in my teeth, right? And I've
Mhm.
always been insecure about that when I was younger. Because it doesn't look like what it looks like in movies and TV and people
Yeah.
on magazines. And I was always contemplating about going to the dentist, getting it filled out, straightening it out and whatnot. But I'm glad I never did that, because that honestly wouldn't solve any insecurity issues. It would just be me pretending to be something I'm not.
Yeah. That's a
So-
good point. It's really true.
Yeah. So yeah.
I definitely think if, when I say you, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about people. Like, if you are able to look at your insecurities dead in the face and overcome them, you know, your confidence level gets boosted to such a degree that nothing can really get you down after that. Because if you are your own worst critic and you can overcome yourself, then nothing anyone can say will ever get under your skin. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the British Immigrant Broadcasting Corporation podcast. Thank you very much to my co-host Jacob.
Hey.
And we will see you very soon. Cheers.